Later, Membership Chair Doug Griffith will introduce a new membership drive entitled Project 2500. It's an exciting prospect, but it will only work if the communities around us know who we are. So back to why. By the laws of human nature, any audience you talk to will be more receptive if you talk about why you do a thing as opposed to what it is you actually do. Imagine you're at a function and someone asks you about your pin, and you explain it's Rotary. And they say, what's Rotary? What do you do at Rotary? What's that all about? Well, there's two ways you can answer that question. And I think the one we tend to say is something like, well, at Rotary we collect bikes and we send them to school children in Africa. But think of that, answering that question another way. What you could say is, well, I believe that if the children in Africa receive a proper education, their nation will grow and thrive, and it will be less dependent on the rest of the world. The problem for most of these children is how to get to school, which is sometimes 15 miles away, which they have to walk to in their bare feet. So to solve that problem, we refurbish second-hand bikes and send them out to the children in Africa. That explanation will stick more in the minds of the person you're talking to, and it's just simply a matter of explaining why before you explain what. Both history and modern-day marketing practices hold many examples of what I mean. To single one out, think about the speech that Dr. Martin Luther King delivered in August 1963 when he inspired a country to change, not for the good of the minority, but for the good of the entire country. And it was all about why. Why the world hasn't changed, and why it needs to start changing now. Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech has gone down as one of the most inspiring events in history. So how am I going to inspire you to improve communications with the community around you? Well, I believe I can achieve this by simply asking you to add 3 questions to the agendas of your monthly council meetings at your clubs. The first 2 relate to Rotary News. So let's talk about a newspaper for a minute. Last year at conference, I finished my presentation with the announcement of Rotary News. We had just completed issue 1 for conference. We were filled with enthusiasm and our expectations were high. So how has it worked for us? Well, I can tell you that the response from the launch of last year's conference was immense. We have gone from strength to strength, with issue 5 just distributed, and we're currently working on issue 6. We've covered over 400 stories and articles submitted by 60 clubs. So this project is a great success and at no cost to the district budget. But we need to develop this further. We have a golden opportunity here to draw from a rich catalogue of stories in the district to present Rotary Ireland in its best possible light. So my first suggestion for an additional question at your council meeting would be, what are we going to submit to the next edition of Rotary News? But before your council answers that question, think of what Rotary News is. Why does it exist? Remember, it's not just an internal Rotary newsletter. Rotary News is outward facing. It also exists, and more importantly, for the purpose of telling the local community who we are, what we do, and why we do it. So before you submit an article to Rotary News, why not put yourselves in the shoes of a non-Rotarian who might be picking up a copy for the very first time? What would you find interesting in that paper? What would you want to read that would make you want to know more about Rotary? Think about that. And remember, images are first contact. Every picture tells a story. Make your pictures the best quality. Don't use iPhone photographs. Use a proper camera, a compact camera at least. Make the pictures eye-catching. Good action shots or funny shots. Whatever will attract someone to want to read the newspaper. My 80-year-old mother she continually enters competitions and she wins a disproportionately high number of prizes. Why is that? Because she colours each competition entry envelope with felt tip pens. The laws of attraction might be as old as the peacock, but if they work for an 80-year-old lady, they will work for Rotary News as well. So remember, you decide what you supply the Rotary News. Make it something community will want to read about. So while I'm talking about Rotary News in the community, here's another question. How do the clubs get copies out into the community? Think about it. If we have produced 5 issues to date, and we've printed 5,000 copies of each issue, that's 25,000 papers containing information packed with stuff about Rotary, which should not be sitting in a cupboard in the venue of your local club meeting, nor should it be hiding in the magazine rack in Rotarians' living rooms. So my second suggestion would be to ask yourselves, how are we going to get Rotary News distributed into the community? And that's not going to happen if the President simply announces the arrival of the latest issue of Rotary News and says, please lift a copy and don't forget to drop a copy somewhere in the local community. That's not going to work at all. This should be an important question asked of Council. Someone from your club needs to be given the responsibility to ensure it happens. There needs to be a mechanism in place to get the copies out into the waiting rooms of health centres and vets and dentists and podiatrists and car dealerships and golf clubs and anywhere somebody's waiting about looking to read something. In those situations, they should be reading about Rotary. And you need to follow up by assessing how community distribution is working. On the production side, we've plans to produce a way of getting some feedback from the public, but the public need to have the papers in their hands and reading them before that can work. So let's set Rotary News to the side for a minute and talk about the community. How does your club communicate with the community? That's the next question to be added to your council agenda. Remember, no line of communication is a one-way street. Okay, Rotary News is great for telling your community what it is we do and why we do it. But have you ever thought about going into the community and asking questions? Questions like, what is important to this community and how can Rotary be involved? Which projects would our community like to see us involved in? Does this community have social or economic issues which Rotary can help with? What it boils down to is this. Does your community have a heart and soul? If it does, then can Rotary tap into that? If it doesn't, can Rotary help create it? This morning, Kenny Jacob from Ryanair said, listen to your customers. Talk to your customers, talk to your community. I believe it is better to consult the people around us rather than just simply shake a tin at them. I believe if we take up the challenges brought to us by the community, we would become an identity in that community. And I believe if we have identified and solved some of the most difficult problems in our communities, our neighbours will want to join in too. It's not a hard sell. Hard sells are not going to work here. We just need to open up and tell those around us what we do and why we do it. There's a rich source of material from our work, so let's use the successes and make them work to our advantage. A sign that says, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So fellow Rotarians, let's go out into the communities. Tell them what we were doing, tell them why, and ask what we can do for them. And make Rotary an identity in their midst. Thank you.